Nottingham Trent University, working with you. Proud sponsors of Working Week.
On Working Week this week.
The Sneinton factory that's finding jobs for people struggling to get work.
I really, really enjoy it. I've been here for 18 years.
It's marvellous. It's marvellous. Never a dull day. I like working here, like the people and that.
And the Internet Reptile, the Nottingham firm selling reptiles all over the world.
Good afternoon, Internet Reptile.
The business is going really good. We now have over 4,000 reptile products, and we now have 8 members of staff.
And we'll be finding out how the Notts Wildlife Trust is turning conservation into a business.
We've started to develop our own products, things like our Help Me Duck range of t-shirts and cups and pencils, which have been really popular, very focused on Nottinghamshire and actually being exclusive. And we find that as a charity, people are quite keen to support us where we can either provide specialist advice or something exclusive you can't get elsewhere.
Do you think I could spot a bittern with this?
You could, and in fact you probably could go out on the reserve and spot a bittern today as well for yourself. They're still around today.
Do you know what I've loved? I've loved the fact that we've been trying out a couple of new presenters for the show.
They were great.
But first all that to come.
We've got Dod's advice from one of the biggest companies in Nottingham.
What? Yeah. Who, when, why, how,
That's
where?
all the right words, not necessarily in the right place.
Come on, Eddie.
You know, we've actually been here for an hour.
Hello, I'm Rob Pitt.
And I am Des Coleman.
And you're in a t-shirt.
I am in a t-shirt and you're in a coat. Why are you in a coat?
Unusual turn of events, isn't it? I think it just covers the belly, actually.
don't-
That's the main reason. Talking of coats, though, we've been to a Nottingham factory, in Sneinton in fact, which helps people who are struggling to find work and gives them a job and, hopefully, a career. In a unit on Stonebridge in Sneinton, Woodfield Industries has been helping people for more than 30 years. A business set up by the Department for Work and Pensions, it's now supported by Nottingham City Council. Its main aim is to provide work and training for people who need help in getting jobs. Initially it was for people with disabilities, but now it's got a wider remit.
We've diversified into looking at the wider community. So you've got the hard to reach groups that all find barriers. So you've got mums returning to work, you've got long-term unemployed, and all the other people that have these challenges.
But it also works as a business. There are 38 workers here turning out the uniforms worn by City Council workers across Nottingham. There's also a shop selling building supplies and hardware, and even a recycling operation. And now Woodfield is looking to grow and find more customers in the local business community.
Take that for you. We have a whole range of corporate wear that we can do for any business in the city. And that's, we buy it in and we'll badge it up for you so you get your company badging on it.
As well as work experience, the people who come here are taught how to write CVs, how to handle interviews, and the employers who take them on are given help too to make sure they slot into the workforce successfully.
And the sun's put a smile on my face, but you know something else? When you came back from filming that, you had an even bigger smile on your face. You must have absolutely loved it.
I really enjoyed it. It was a great place to visit, one of those factories that you really enjoy going around and filming. And we heard there from the management about the ethos behind Woodfield Industries, but the really good thing about that place is that people, you're enjoying that.
Oh, the sunshine's really strong, isn't it?
The sun's shining on them too, because these people have been given a job and a future career too.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Is it waterproof? Yes. Oh, cool. Yes. Yeah.
It might be a place where people come to work, but it's also somewhere where they seem happy in their jobs. With its ethos of helping people who need support and training to find work, Woodfield generates a strong loyalty amongst its staff and gives them opportunities to develop. Janet Bradley's been here for 19 years. Today she's pressing studs on uniforms for Nottingham City Council workers, but she's added other skills to her bow.
I do packing, examining, but I don't do machining. But I have worked in the kitchen. I passed my food and hygiene, and then sometimes I do cleaning and that as well. I do.
On reception, and Sally Ann Stevenson's another who clearly loves her job.
I really, really enjoy it. I've been here for 18 years. I've been here, and when I first came here I had no confidence whatsoever, and I was down on my luck and going through what normal people do who with a disability, trying to find a job in this day and age is really, really difficult. But Woodfield came along and I accepted it. I grabbed the opportunity with both hands and I'm still here.
Judith Green is carrying out quality checks before the garments go out.
Usually like a missing stitch or they've put the binding wrong.
Judith's clocked up 15 years at Woodfield and she too has learnt a lot in that time. She's also become a union rep and a mentor for other staff.
Writing and reading, because of dyslexic I didn't know, and helping like them coming to me and then doing examining, ironing, packing and some get stock, like sips and stuff like that.
Woodfield's not just providing employment for people, it's also helping them to move on to jobs elsewhere and to gain the confidence to improve their lives outside the world of work.
And from one of your favourites, Robert, to there's a lot of famous Roberts around. Nice to meet you, Robert the Bruce. And anyway, from one of your favourites to one of mine actually, the Internet Reptile, Nottingham firm selling reptiles all over the internet.
This is a great story. We sent a reporter, remember this, Emil Petri along, and I don't think, watch out for this, I don't think he likes the chameleon all that much.
Something stirring in a quiet corner of Nottingham. On Clark Road near the cattle market, there's a sight you might not expect to see. Exotic reptiles, thousands of them. It's the home of a fast-growing Nottingham business, Internet Reptile, which, as the name implies, sells reptiles over the internet. And as our reporter Emil Petri discovered, they come from far and wide.
Okay, this is Patch the chameleon from Madagascar, and he has been kept here in Nottingham because he was mistreated by his owners, and he's here at the Internet Reptile Centre to recover. Steve, can you tell us a bit about Patch?
Yeah, sure. One morning we got to work and Patch was there. He was just literally dropped off. There was no note or anything. And as soon as we got in, we realised that his eye was actually damaged on his left eye. He can't turn it round anymore.
Yeah.
His other eye's actually working quite well. We took him in, got him settled down, fed him a few times, and we have been treating his eye with some drops as well. Just to get him back up to his full strength because he was quite weak. He's one of the most lovely coloured panther chameleons we've ever seen, and he is really tame. These animals, they tend to go to people that perhaps don't always know how best to treat them, and they do need a lot of care.
The business was set up by a pet lover with an allergy to fur. Since he couldn't have a cat or a dog, he decided to keep reptiles, and it's grown from there, with Nottingham proving an ideal location.
We can cover a large area from the Midlands. We do have a good delivery service for all our products. We now have over 4,000 reptile products. We also wholesale directly to the shops of the East Midlands. With the wholesaling, we are the only wholesaler in the country that can provide every single reptile product and line. And the business has been going here for about 3 years now. It's doing very well. We build year on year and we now have 8 members of staff.
Can you tell us about what kind of turnover you have?
The turnover has increased again year on year. I think the predicted forecast is about 1.4 million this year. So with that kind of growth, we do expect to employ more people. We do have people here that have been on apprenticeship courses and they've done very well, been successful, and now they're here as full-time members of staff.
Where do you think this business is going? How are you developing?
We are looking at, apart from doing reptile, we're now looking at pet. We're going to be launching a website called Internet Pet Shop very shortly. That's going to have over 20,000 lines, and it should be looking at competing with the big people out there, such as Pets at Home.
Do you go out to schools and centres and educate people?
Yeah, absolutely. We run a programme where we will go out to local primary schools. We show the children there how you should best care for a reptile and the equipment that you'd need and use, and then obviously we explain that you can get it directly here in Nottingham.
And so if you're looking for a snake or a tarantula in Nottingham, or even perhaps a scorpion, now you know where to come.
Okay, Des, I've got an impression for you. Who's this?
Emil.
It's certainly.
You see. But anyway, Rob, let's get back onto it. That's it for this half. Coming up in the second half.
Yeah, we've got job tips on how to find work from one of Nottingham's fastest growing companies.
We've grown significantly. We really are one of the leading employers in Nottingham now.
When I first started, it's not like I had a degree or anything. You know, I've been at sixth form, been in retail, started here. They gave me a lot of support, a lot of training, a lot of tools to actually start doing my job. And I said, you know, progress when I wanted to progress. So no, really would recommend it.
And how the Notts Wildlife Trust is making money out of more business ventures.
The entry level we sell here at Attenborough is the Oregon, which we've developed in conjunction with Opticron and the Wildlife Trust.
Oh look, it's got your label on it, yeah.
I think more and more charities are trying to be in control of as much of their income as possible. It helps us with long-term planning, and it also means we can be more effective and efficient in delivering our actual conservation work as well.
It makes perfect sense. It's the perfect environment to try and buy binoculars.
And talking of making money, our Nottingham business is making enough of the legend of Robin Hood.
It stands for credibility, fairness, social justice, all the things which firms like to think will rub off on their particular company.
And we'll be meeting...
I'm just saying loads of money walk by.
It's always happening to you, isn't it?
I know. Continue.
Oh yeah, and we'll be meeting the Clifton chocolate maker who's running a business from his kitchen.
I just love about its flexibility. Once you understand chocolate, you can put so many different flavours with chocolate. You can adapt it, change its colour, put transfers on it to make it look a different pattern. There's a lot of stuff to love about chocolate.
So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you in a short while.
Nottingham Trent University, proud sponsors of Working Week. Nottingham Trent University, proud sponsors of Working Week.
That's all right, I reckon that one would suit me.
That's great, that is. I haven't actually talking about my reflection, though.
Yeah, I should have guessed. That's the only reason you stopped here, isn't it? Welcome back to Working Week. In this half, we've got job tips if you're looking for work from one of Nottingham's fastest growing companies. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, that's not very nice.
You can connect with the people that you've met at interview on LinkedIn. You can follow the company on Twitter or follow the people you've met depending on the industry. I'd be mindful of maybe talking too much about it because a lot of companies do monitor that kind of stuff. So don't be coming out the interview sort of being too confident or the other way around and slating the company. But just connect with the people you've met and follow the company on social media.
I'll tell you what, Rob, the wind's picked up. Mate,
you're getting killed now.
Cheers.
I thought you were very brave just wearing the T-shirt. We'll also be finding out in this half how our wildlife trust is trying to make money out of becoming more business-like. You better know.
Ta-da!
Oh, very nice.
Not only do all of the profits that we make here at the Attenborough Nature Centre go back into the reserve here and protecting wildlife across Nottinghamshire, but any of these binoculars that are sold across the country, they'll donate a percentage of the profits to the Royal Society of Wildlife Trust.
And when you think about setting work...
Carry on.
And if you think about setting up work, what about your kitchen? Because we've got the Clifton chocolate maker who set up work right there.
Where?
In his kitchen.
Fantastic.
I want to do something like a Thailand bar. I want to have a chili and lime bar. Different things people can recognise. So if you like a predominant flavour, say you like curry or you like Thai food, or you like, I want to try and entice some flavours into the chocolate bar so you can kind of relate to your favourite flavours.
And we're famous for it. Des, say Nottingham anywhere around the world, and what will people say?
Well, people used to say Shottingham.
No, you can't say that.
No?
Shh, that's not true anymore. No, it's Robin Hood. But are we making enough of our famous outlaw?
It goes right down to Australia, across to America, in some really, really obscure places.
Right, we've recruited 2 new presenters. This is Ellie and Robin, so introduce the next piece.
But first, all that to come.
We've got jobs advice from one of the biggest companies in Nottingham.
Very good.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, well done. Domestic in General is a firm that already employs 800 people and is looking for more, with vacancies for at least another 100. So what does their ideal candidate look like?
We're looking for somebody who can come along, deliver great customer service, enjoys working in a sales environment, who enjoys maybe sort of contact centre. Although that experience is not actually essential to us, we offer great training and support.
The company handles calls connected to warranties. Some of the biggest names in industry are customers. If your washing machine breaks down, these are the people who may well be answering your call. And the firm based in Wollerton Street is a big recruiter in the local jobs market.
I worked in retail for a year, just after leaving sixth form, and then just started working here. I was on the phone for 4 years, and then being a team leader now for about 4 years as well.
And are you both from Nottingham?
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
And how long have you been here then, Kai?
Not quite as long as Rebecca, unfortunately. I've been here 3.5 years, just approaching 4. I started originally as an agent on the phone, and then again I progressed throughout the ranks, and now I'm a team leader and I have my own team. I have a lot more responsibility now when I come to work. I enjoy it.
So how do you get a job at somewhere like this? Well, nowadays, companies are looking at your online presence. Social media like Facebook and Twitter can work for you or against you.
And we'll see what comes in.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mark Watson is the head of online recruitment at Domestic and General, and he's got some top tips.
Get yourself a LinkedIn profile, make sure that's up to date, get a good professional photo on there as well. You want to be found by recruiters and to be working in that professional space, so LinkedIn's a good place to start. If you're looking for a job, say in fashion or design or photography, even things like Instagram's a great platform to talk about that kind of stuff and showcase what you're up to, and even send a link out to your Instagram and your application. A lot of companies now have Facebook and Twitter pages and LinkedIn pages, so be following them, engaging with them. It obviously shows you're keen to work for them, but also you get an honest opinion when you follow someone's Facebook page, as you say would go on their corporate careers site.
Let's take a look at the Notts Wildlife Trust. Now, this is a charity, Des, relies very heavily on public subscriptions and donations, but it's also trying to turn a penny from business activities, and it's getting rather good at it.
It's a business worth around £3 million a year, employs 40 people in Notts and has more than 500,000 customers. But it's also a charity. The Notts Wildlife Trust manages sites across the county, trying to protect endangered species and preserve some of our most ancient landscapes. To do that, it's turning increasingly to bringing a business eye to its activities, looking to make a profit where possible.
So we've got everything from the real high end, the Swarovski, and then starting from Opticon, which is our entry level through to avid birdwatcher range.
Attenborough attracts up to 300,000 visitors a year, and that's helped to make its optics centre one of the best-selling outlets in the country.
Quite a few years ago we realised there's a gap in the market for just birdwatching binoculars for beginners all the way through to your avid birdwatcher. Whilst there's a lot of high street retailers where you can go and find binoculars and telescopes, there's very few locally where you can actually try them in the field under real field conditions, and Attenborough Nature Reserve and the visitor centre here really lends itself to that purpose.
It's not just binoculars though. The charity looks to raise around 40% of its income from commercial activities, and it's going well.
We try to keep things aligned with our core business of nature conservation, so things like the optics, the binoculars, telescopes, also sort of nature study items like microscopes, all the guides, bird books. We have a massive range of bird food as well, which is really important. People come and buy bird food here and feed the birds at home.
£629, fully multi-coated, incredibly bright, very sharp, and suited to even the most professional of bird watchers.
Let's have a go then. So what can I see? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh crikey, that is quite sharp, isn't it? I mean, that must be 17 miles away. I can see it. Yeah.
Donations are still vital, but the charity's found an increasingly important way of raising extra funds, and every penny of profit goes to preserving wildlife here in Notts.
Did you ever see that?
Well, Des has just gone over the highlights of his EastEnders and weather presenter career for some more of his fans. Let's just take a look at another story now, though, and this is the Clifton chocolate maker who set up a business in his own kitchen.
Because I've done a lot of musical theatre, you see.
Still going.
Miss Saigon, Porgy and Bess.
Still going.
Then I ended up doing some presenting and stuff.
Hasn't got the wrap pack yet.
So what we're going to be making today, Ashley?
Today we've got some milk chocolate fruit and nut, which is the favourite of most people that buy the chocolate. About 2/3 onto the slab. And this is what we're just going to temper the chocolate. And then we'll just put this inside.
And how long have you been working with chocolate?
I've only been working with chocolate for about 3-4 months. Not very long since I set the cocoa pod up. But I've always had some sort of knowledge of working with chocolate. I've just kind of expanded that knowledge as I've been working with it, doing this little business venture I'm doing at the minute.
So is it about getting there?
Yeah, it's just about done. We're going to probe it. It's going to go straight back into that bowl in a second. The next step is to place the crystallised chocolate back into the warm chocolate. So just go ahead and do that.
It's all very scientific.
It is.
It's like a laboratory.
You think it's dead easy, you think you just melt something down and then chuck it in a mould and then that's it, but it's a lot harder than that. Once this goes in here, what happens is now there's both bad crystals and good crystals. That hot chocolate will destroy the bad crystals and keep the good crystals so that the chocolate sets perfectly and there's no bloom on the chocolate whatsoever.
I know what you're going to talk about now.
What, dear?
Legend.
Legend.
No.
Legend.
Legend.
It's the way you said nah. I know you're going to talk about nah. It's very East Midlands, that. You know, you never hear me saying that. But yeah, it's this guy, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Now, this business is obviously using that famous Robin Hood image, well known around the world. But are businesses across the rest of the city making as much as they could from it? Well, we've been talking to one businessman who carried out a survey to find out exactly that. Well, the famous statue of Robin Hood is covered in scaffolding, and there's a team from Nottingham Trent University taking a mould of it, and that's because they're going to cast a completely new statue which will be taken to the University of Nottingham's campus at Ningbo in China. Now, that's a sign of just how strong the power of the Robin Hood legend is, but what does it mean to us in the city, and can we make any money out of it, and are we doing enough anyway? Well, Bob White has done a survey of local businesses to get their attitude, and Bob, what did you find first of all?
Well, people were very aware that the Robin Hood thing was underused. They were very keen that businesses in particular could use it because it's not just a tourism thing, it's got a lot of applications. So they've got a lot of good suggestions. There's a little bit of wariness, cautiousness, because some people don't always fit comfortably with it. Of course, it's the expectations when people come here, and there's very little, except for the statue here, to be seen, and this is 63 years old.
But isn't that an argument against using it, because there's kind of, you might let people down, you know, there's got to be substance to a promise, and you know, there is only the statue. Sherwood Forest is tiny, particularly if you're an American, you know, people might come here and be disappointed.
Well, it isn't something, but the thing that we're very bad at is showing what's probably the greatest history of the legend of all, which is how it's been the popular culture. It's really an icon of popular culture, and you can follow it all the way through from the old sort of pagan green man medieval things right through to the latest Hollywood movie. That gives you an awful, you know, long and terrific expanse of things to exploit.
Well, Jason here certainly makes the most of it because you're the manager of this place, aren't you?
I am, yes. Been here for about 20 years now.
Wow. So what's with Robin Hood then? Why do you use that name?
Just, it's the Nottingham thing, isn't it? You know, it blends in with Nottingham. And like the tourists will walk by and like you always hear, like, oh, Robin Hood's jacket potatoes. Yeah. So, you know, we must be worldwide famous. Because so many people take photographs of it. So,
is it a family business?
My boss, I've known him for many years, so more or less, yeah.
It's a Nottingham business, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bet your boss didn't tell you this about your name, mate. Jason. July, August, September, October, November.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh, all right then. But you don't know, it's the beginning letter of each of the month.
Have you got any jokes? Well, that's it for this week. I think we can safely say the public of Nottingham.
Yeah, we've had a great show, yeah. We love them, mate, we love them.
And they seem to love you, don't they?
Well, they seem to love us both, you see.
It's a magic combination.
It's a show that they love, mate.
To be honest, though, the people in Nottingham are the real stars of this show.
They certainly are.
And we'll have more of you lot in next week's programme. See you then.
Nottingham Trent University, working with you. Proud sponsors of Working Week.